Hello, namaste, namaskar, namaskara. I'm more than excited today to bring before you the final bit of my blueprint for your success in civil service exam. If in case you haven't watched my earlier videos, I strongly recommend that you watch those videos and come back to this because this is the final bit, the final lap in the blueprint what I'm trying to offer you, right? So let's move into the topic. So what is this blueprint? You already know about it now. It's the parts of Indian Constitution and also subparts of Indian Constitution. And through my expertise and experience, what I've done is I've bracketed all the parts of Indian Constitution into various themes. So you already know the first 5 parts of Indian Constitution is bracketed into the theme called Who Are You? What is your identity and what is your system all about, isn't it? So all these details are given in my earlier videos. Please go and watch it. And my next part of the blueprint, I went on to categorize the next 8 parts of Indian Constitution into one bracket under the theme Division of Powers. If you watch my earlier video, division of powers should not be a problem at all henceforth. All right. So moving on, after dealing with 10 parts of Indian Constitution, including subparts, it's more than 10 parts. After dealing with that, today we will talk about the further bracketing of the parts of Indian Constitution. From part 11 to part 15 of Indian Constitution, we'll be talking about coordination and cooperation mechanism. See, once division of power happens, it is very important to bring about coordination and cooperation among those organs for which the powers have been divided. Otherwise, the country is going to go into the state of unruliness, isn't it? If there is no coordination and cooperation, no matter how much of division of powers you do, unruliness will come. In order to avoid that, center-state relations and how do you have legislative relations, how do you have mechanisms for administrative relations, all these details are given in part 11 of Indian Constitution, articles 245 to 263. We will talk about it separately, alright. Part 12 of Indian Constitution talks about more important factor, the money factor. How do you bring about cooperation in terms of finances? So financial relations are dealt in part 12 of Indian Constitution, article number 264 to 300A. 300A you're already aware, right? It is right to property. Property is also related to money and finance, isn't it? So we have placed article number 300A here through 44th Amendment Act. We'll talk about it later. Part 13 of Indian Constitution talks about interstate trade, commerce and intercourse within the territory of India. So what is this interstate trade, commerce? See, once your finances are going well for you, you need to do some business, right? So interstate trade and commerce deals with business, that is commerce and trade within the territory of India. 301 to 307, 7 articles after 300A, remember that, it is part 13 of Indian Constitution. So part 14 of Indian Constitution, suppose you do not want to enter into the business arena, that is private arena, you would like to enter into the public arena, which is nothing but public services. So services has to be organized, right? Services are mentioned in part 14 of Indian Constitution. In order to make you enter into civil service, there should be a body to conduct examination, that is UPSC and SPSC. What is UPSC? Union Public Service Commissions, as well as SPSC and State Public Service Commissions. All those bodies are getting originated in the part 14 of Indian Constitution, article number 308 to 323, alright? And if in case after you enter into services, if you have any issues, there should be a special court called tribunals to deal with your service related matters. Suppose you're not happy with the promotion aspect, suppose you're not happy with the salary and emoluments aspects, then you can approach this special court for tribunals, and articles related to tribunals are article number 323A and 323B, which are added through 42nd Amendment Act 1976, alright? And part 15 of Indian Constitution talks about the election procedures in India, and the body called Election Commission of India is getting originated in this part 15 of Indian Constitution. Article numbers are 324 to 329A. We will talk more about elections because India is a democratic country, so we'll talk about elections in a detailed manner in another video. So the theme for part 11 to part 15 is coordination and cooperation mechanism, and that brings us to the final lap of this blueprint for your success in civil service exam, and that is nothing but part 16 to part 22. And the theme that I have given for this is special provisions. See, there are various special provisions for citizens of this country, as well as certain constitutional positions like the President of India and and governors of state. So what are those special provisions are dealt in various parts of these last few parts of Indian Constitution. So part 16 to part 22 talks about special provisions. For example, special provisions relating to certain classes like SC, STs and backward sections. So all these people have certain special provisions, even though there is something called as right to equality, correct? All that is happening because of this special provision called special provisions, which are mentioned in part 16, article number 330 to article number 342. So part 17 is another special provision which is related to languages. In order to bring about coordination and cooperation and also unity, they have added official languages, and schedule 8 has listed 22 official languages. And in our part 17 of Indian Constitution, official language is given as Hindi, and English is also taken as official languages through various arrangements. What are those details? We'll talk about it later. Okay, so part 17 talks about official languages, and part 16 talks about special provisions. Official languages is again a special provision, isn't it? And part 18 talks about emergency provisions. Suppose there is an attack on India from external sources or from internal sources, or because of financial mismanagement. How do you deal with such a situation? And that is dealt in detail in part 18 of Indian Constitution, emergency provisions. Articles related to it is article number 352 to 360, of which article number 352 becomes very crucial, which is related to national emergency. We'll talk about it later. And then article number 356 also talks about emergency in the state. Okay, it is called as breakdown of constitutional machinery in the state. And also financial emergency is article number 360. That is, we need to remember article number 352, 356 and 360. So after the emergency provision, we have part 19 of Indian Constitution, which deals with miscellaneous provisions. What are miscellaneous provisions? They are nothing but exceptions to legal proceedings against certain dignitaries. For example, you might have heard that the President of India cannot be tried on any civil or criminal cases when he or she is in power, isn't it? Or for that matter, governor also enjoys the same power. Or you might have heard about diplomatic immunity. All these are certain miscellaneous or exceptions which are mentioned in the fundamental law of the land itself, because of which they are able to get that exception, which is contrary to our right to equality, which is a fundamental right, isn't it? So all these things are to be borne in mind, and miscellaneous provisions are dealt in part 19 of Indian Constitution. We'll deal with that separately. 7 articles related to it, starting from 361 to 367, immediately after the emergency provision, which is part 18 of Indian Constitution. Alright, next comes another crucial aspect, crucial special provision, which is the special provision to amend Indian Constitution. What is the article related to it? It is article number 368. This article is very important because it gives the procedure to amend Indian Constitution. Various procedures are there to amend Indian Constitution through various ways, and what are those ways are mentioned in detail in article number 368, so that our Indian Constitution can be amended and made relevant to the current times and current people living in this particular state called India. We'll talk about it later separately. Alright, then comes part 21, which is related to temporary, transitional and special provisions, article number 369 to 392. Immediately something can flash in your mind, right? Article number 370, which is originating from this part 21, which is special provisions related to Jammu Kashmir. This is always in news, right? It has been abrogated recently by the government of India, isn't it? So this is a temporary provision, this is a transitional provision which was given to Jammu Kashmir because of the situation, and now it has been abrogated for various reasons. What are those reasons? Is your current affairs studies. We'll talk about it in a separate class. And then comes the last bit of this parts of Indian Constitution, which is the last part of the blueprint for your success in civil service examination, which is talking about short title, commencement, authoritative text in Hindi and repeal of certain previous laws. Article numbers attached to it are last 3 articles, 393, 394 and 395. What are these? These are nothing but what title should be given to this book called the Indian Constitution. It is Constitution of India, right? This has been decided by the Constitution itself, or for that matter, authoritative texts in Hindi. What is the authority on the basis of which this particular book can be printed in Hindi? So all these details, minor details are also covered in the Indian Constitution itself. So this article starting these parts starting from part 16 to part 22, I am completely covering under a special theme, and that special theme is nothing but special provisions. So basically I have made this particular preparation very, very easy for you by giving you a blueprint, and that blueprint should actually help you resolve your issue of getting lost in this ocean of preparation. I do not want you to get lost in this ocean of preparation and therefore miss your rank in the civil service exam. I want all of you to score that rank in the civil service exam, and because of which I'm putting this extra effort to give you the blueprint. And this blueprint, I'm sure, is going to help you in a big way, because even if you're learning history, even if you're learning geography, even if you're learning international relations, even if you're learning economics, or even if you're learning science and technology or current affairs, you will be in a position to not get lost and attach all those learnings into this single blueprint what I have given you, called Indian Constitution and its parts, because everything is related to your state, and all your historical learning, geographical learnings, economic learnings, science and technology learnings ultimately gets connected to this state called India. That's all for today, and this is the conclusion part of my blueprint for your success in civil service exam. And I'm pretty sure that you will have an extra edge over others because of this blueprint. I hope you enjoyed this series. I will come back with yet another interesting and informative video for your success in civil service exam. This is Tarun signing off. Thank you so much. Bye.